So I thought I'd make a quick video that shows this little bonus. Um, Wrote this on Memorial Day of 2023, and mostly just kind of I hadn't written Python in years. I only wrote a couple days worth several years ago. So I thought, but I wanted to try it because Faker is this great package that helps to generate made-up data, and Python is where it originated. So I figured it was the granddaddy and probably had all the great stuff in it. I'll contrast it with the Dart one that's available at pub.dev. It looked like it wasn't as full-featured. At least it wasn't documented as such. So anyway, it took a few minutes. Python's so straightforward and easy to work with. It took a few minutes to get my environment right. In addition to that, I had at my disposal, obviously, the Google /stackoverflow, which everybody has always had, in recent years. And then also had access to a number of examples of things, both people using Faker and so on. And then finally, the third resource I really relied on was ChatGPT, which is just amazing for cutting right to exactly what you need to know. If you have a generic question, a general question, you can ask it in such a way that it will actually just write the code for you and say, this is one way to do this. And for example, I didn't know how to grab the arguments in a Python program off the command line. It gave me a sample in like 5 seconds, or not even, and it's like, yep, that'll do, and start off on it. And then it actually understands how to use Faker. And I'll give you an example that there's some random text being generated for what's known as patient status. So I'd use fake.sentence with a number of words being 10. So it gives me a single sentence back with up to 10 words in the results. And they're English words, so it looks a little odd because there are 10 random words. So the classic lorem ipsum is probably, or ipsum lorem, I don't remember what the sequence is, but that is probably a little more common when people know they're looking at fake verbiage. So I asked Chat just now, can I do that or not? And it said, sure, it's not really built in. Let me see if I can find this. Hold on, bear with me. There we go. It's not really built in, but this is the wonderful thing about it. Can I get fake.sentence generate in lorem ipsum words versus natural English words? Fake sentence, generate sentence in English or other available locale, but not lorem ipsum. However, library does provide a function to generate that. That's .text. And then because it comes back as like a wild paragraph, it's like, you can just parse it on the dots. That does a split. And then you get a whole collection of sentences then. And then just grab the first sentence. And it does warn that you might not have a period, however, and you don't want to strip the space. Just fantastic stuff. But I decided I'd skip it for now because that looks like a lot of work for nothing. So, but it's so fantastic to use ChatGPT for that reason. Right? So, coming back here. So let's take a look at it real fast. Looking at the wrong code. Hold on. That's right, I keep flipping back over there. So this whole thing, including this rather verbose intro commentary of 21 lines, the whole thing's only 106, so we're looking at 80 lines of code, pretty tight. A couple of great exposed things, again, thanks to Stack Overflow, finding some of the neat things to use, like here, I don't know if you pronounce it NumPy or NumPy, but I like NumPy. Anyway, importing these 4 things, this gives me the command line stuff. This gives me the NumPy random, which is pretty cool. There's a really nice function there. JSON, of course, for dumping something as JSON, converting from an object, like a kind of an anonymous object or a map to JSON and vice versa. And then, of course, the big daddy here, Faker, which is just great. Again, just a really fantastic package. So here, just again, thanks to ChatGPT, it's like, hey, it pretty much put together this usage thing in case I don't pass the right arguments in. 2 arguments come in: the number of fakes to make, fake patients, and then where to put it, the output file. Not other than that, not doing a lot of checking or anything like that. 2 different values in the map are supposedly unique, so at least among a single run, I'm using 2 sets to track chart numbers, which is like a patient record, medical record number, and then a generic ID. By the way, this is all written against producing fake patients a la carecloud.com, which is a practice management system that can be very useful and helpful in medical settings. So anyway, here's two little functions. They both look very similar. It's because I wrote one and then realized I wanted the other one. And this basically is to guarantee the unique chart number, so it's somewhat recursive. So you come in, it gets the chart number, which is just this is again thanks to chat. It's like, hey, how do I get a random number between a certain with a certain number of digits? And it didn't dawn on me that you just picked the right integers at the low end and the high end to do that. So I wanted 6 digits for the chart number. And so it says if the chart number is already in the set, just call this same function again. So this might call as many as, who knows, probably never called more than once, but I could actually be, I could instrument this to tell me exactly how deep it got ever, but I can't imagine it goes more than once. This is just to be thorough. But it calls through the same function again and again until it finally does not find it in the set, in which case it will add itself to the set, or add the value to the set, and then return the value. And so that's how to guarantee a unique chart number, and similarly how to do a unique ID, although in this case only limiting it to roughly, four characters in that case. So let's see. So realistic fake mail. So there's an email generator on Faker, but wanted something that looked a little more, not so random. And this could probably be better written so that it's a little more randomized. So rather than always first name, last name, dot last name, it could be maybe just the first character of either of those two options, just randomly chosen. And then maybe a few domains that were not just totally faked. In other words, gmail.com, yahoo.com, etc. So finally, you can see its source. This is coming off of somebody's question in Stack Overflow, fake or categorical, where you pass the number of fakes that you want to make and then also the seed. In this case, we're going to use both a fake seed and then numpy, and that's going to be explained in just a second. So this is my favorite bit from numpy, which is for gender. There's actually 4 potential values coming in from CareCloud, and so that is we're using numpy random choice, and then you pass an array that is the possible choices, right? 1, it is a string value for them, 1, 2, 3, or none, and they represent, you put them out of order. To them, 1 is male, 2 is female, 3 is other, and none is simply, it's quite possible that practice has not established what the gender of the patient is yet, so that comes up as none. And then here, this is the nice part, you can actually put the percentage values. I don't know if it's p-value or whatever, but it's 40% will be male, 40% female, 0.15 will be none, which is unknown, and then 0.05 being some other gender, right? And again, the 3, I don't know if 3 really matters. It's just that in their case, if it's not a 1 or 2, then it's other, or it potentially could be null. So let's see. So we get a middle name. We're using first name because there is no middle name fake. And to make sure it's unique, down below, when I was using whole middle names, you just loop while the middle name's still the first name or equal to the first name. Just go back and get another one, because you don't want to have like a James Edwards, so that would be kind of stupid to be, poor kid, to be named with both first and middle name being the same names. But in the end, only use the middle initial, because that's exactly how CareCloud passes it. It's a string, but they only pass the middle initial. Let's see. So we're going through the various genders. You have both first name male and a first name female. And then if it's 3 or an unknown, just do a generic first name. We won't know what pops up. Finally, this is really interesting stuff too, that the language allows you to just say, like here's output, it's declared to be an array or a list, and here we just keep appending to it this kind of anonymous object. And so it looks just like a JSON object. And so here we're actually doing things like calling our unique ID function, our chart number function. Here we're doing a date of birth where we have a minimum age of 15, maximum of 90. And then down here we just take the first character of the middle name. We know we have a value. The gender again. And then here the realistic fake email. the sentence which we opened with, and then a phone number and zip code. And so it just keeps appending these new values each time in this loop until it's hit the number of things you've asked for. Then it puts a closed square bracket on it and returns that list. So we take that, that's what the results is. Then we just turn it into a JSON string. And with the indent equal 4, it pretty prints it on the way instead of just jamming it all up. And then you can actually see the pretty printed results. Then we open up the output file and that was given to it, and just write the results to that in one line, finished. This whole thing, we'll run it right now, probably, I think I did it earlier today, but I'll start all over. Let's see, for me it's Python 3, src, generate, and then here's where we pass in our values. I'll give it like 3,000, and output will be, let's see, patience 3,000 .json. Okay, so ran it, and then that's finished, all 3,000 values, and you can see what it's going to look like there. But we see it up here. Click on it, and there's formatted, and it's literally, it's probably somewhere around 10,000 lines. I'm not sure. Just go to the bottom here. Oh, 40,000 lines. So pretty amazing, that fast, that easy. And you see the, obviously the first and last and the random domain name, smith.info, .com, .org, so you see them all, .net. Phone numbers come in all kinds of crazy formats, some with extensions, some with not, some with country codes, some not. Just as you would expect, people collect kind of data loosely when they're collecting it loosely. We see our 4-character IDs, we see our 6-character chart numbers, and the dates of birth that, based on today, they're going to end up being between 15 years old and 90 years old. Okay, pretty amazing. Love this stuff. Faker's great. Okay. Oh, by the way, if interested, let me see if I can find it here. Not there, not there. Keeps going back that way. Let's see. There we go. So if you're interested, it's github.com/babu/fakerexperiment, and you can grab the code and a sample file there. Okay.